glad to have you on this Siebel Friday, first of spring. And yeah, just in time. Not sure if it's coincidence. The 25.3 has dropped on Oracle support just if yeah 1 hour ago, and so it's publicly available or generally available, and that's a good thing. Did some frantic search of the release notes and confirmed that all the features mentioned in Bookshelf, which was available a few days ago, are in the release. So very fresh, hot from the oven. And so the plan, of course, as usual, as you know the drill, is to talk about well, the current Siebel release, get the news on what's new in Siebel. And because 25.2 was a little bit delayed and there wasn't really much to talk about back then, last Siebel Friday, I'd like to just go back to 25.2 today for a change and do both releases in one go. And 25.2 definitely, and 25.3, they introduce a change in database connectivity for customers on Oracle database, which means if you are running an Oracle database and any ODBC related connectivity is done, it is done through a third-party driver, the Merant or Data Direct ODBC driver, which was shipped with Siebel for a long time. And Oracle stopped shipping it with or supporting it with Siebel in 25.2. So when you update to 25.3, the same applies. You have to brace yourself for the replacement of that driver. That's pretty much automatic. Anybody who has done a 25.2 update has probably seen it happening if you are on Oracle database. And that's not all. It's also Siebel is also now shipped with an Oracle Instant client in 25.2 and higher. So you get a ready-to-use Oracle client with the Siebel software, much like the JRE, the Java Runtime Environment, is shipped with Siebel. So you don't need a separate installation of the 32-bit Oracle client. So yeah, last time Brian was so kind and explained a little bit about. So if you're interested in that, go watch the 25.2 Siebel Friday, or of course you can post questions in the chat. If are there any experiences, real world experience with the migration to that new ODBC driver and those instant client? Anyone?
Yeah, if you don't click the right buttons, it doesn't work very well.
Okay, what buttons?
So when you're doing the Oracle client and it asks to copy over the uh, TNS name stuff,
Yeah.
if you don't select the directory, it doesn't pull over your. In our case, we use LDAP Aura and uh, SQLNet Aura. We don't
Okay.
use the TNS names, so it pulls it over into the Siebel instance of the Oracle client
Hmm.
network admin.
Yeah.
So so if you don't do it, you just have to manually put it
You
in
have to
there.
manually put those files there. Yeah. Yeah. But
Yeah.
the installer, the update installer prompts for that location.
Right.
And yeah, I noticed that when one of my customers where I did an update on 25.2, they used the TNS admin environment variable. So that's set on every computer to point to the directory. And actually, the installer picks that up. The installer says, okay, you're using TNS admin. So that's where I will refer to. So it's kind of neat. Okay, so yeah, that's something that you have to be aware of for any release past 25.2, so 25.3, if you're updating from a pre 25.2 release. you have that database connectivity change. So here are a few screenshots that I took when I was doing tests. And so you get,
Alex, may I just throw out a quick? I
yeah,
just want to point out on well, before you change slide, the instant client includes the ODBC driver component, which if you ever install the instant client, that's not the default.
yeah,
And so we are also putting that out along with the instant client and register. And the main thing is if for whatever reason you're trying, I don't even know if it's possible, but if you're using the old DSN for something, maybe outside Siebel, you'll have to update it to be the new driver.
yeah. So any custom 32-bit DSN
Right.
needs to be updated. Yeah. So it only
Right.
you can see what it does to the DSNs on that Windows machine. It found the enterprise DSN and it renamed the old version with a timestamp, and it created a new one with the actual new driver, the new ODBC driver in. Yeah, you see the path
Right.
here. Yeah.
Right. With the same name.
Yeah,
So everything should keep working.
yeah, and I can confirm with the customer that we had LDAP connectivity with the wallet, and it all kept working. So it is all good. Let's see, from my limited experience with one customer so far, and a few tests on my training environment. So yeah, that new folder is shipped with the Siebel stack, if you will, Oracle DB client. There's also a link, a symlink to that same folder. I'm not sure what it does, but that's created as well. And it's added to the path. So one thing I noticed is if you have a machine with multiple Siebel homes, like Siebel tools, typical on a development server, you have Siebel tools, and you run the update on Siebel tools, it updates the path, so you end up with the Siebel tools path being the first one. So we changed that back for the SES to be the first in the path variable. Another thing you will notice if you
Alex, sorry,
yeah,
a
sure.
question. Why do you need both? Why aren't you installing tools and SES to the same home?
Not the same home. It's two different homes.
Yeah, I'm asking why.
Well, we need Siebel tools in that environment.
No, I
And
understand, but when you install them, if you specify the same Siebel home, they will
no.
coexist together. Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
so you mean install Siebel tools, check the box at the time of installation, so it's in the same home.
Yeah. Right. And that
Um,
reduces your footprint too, because then
yeah,
it shares the same binaries across tools and SES. And
yeah,
even if you had a developer web client, whatever, all the
that's
components then share the
true.
same bin folder, so you have a
That's
smaller footprint.
the reason why I'm not doing that. Maybe it changed, but when the MDE got shipped a few years ago,
Yeah.
actually there wasn't just a folder Siebel SES tools. It was adding the folders under Siebel for tools. So it
Right.
messed up your folder
Yes.
structure.
Uh,
It had all the
hmm.
Siebel tool specific folders on the same path. It was maybe just
Yeah.
aesthetics,
No.
folder
Okay. Well,
aesthetics. Yeah,
I can't argue with that.
yeah. It wasn't very clean looking. So that's the
But
reason
still,
we have a separate home for tools. Yeah,
okay. But the intent is definitely to have
everything in
to
one
allow
home.
you to
Mhm.
have just one home so that you don't, like I said, you don't need
Right.
to have the same binaries, the same everything over and
M-
over and over.
makes sense. Yeah, makes total sense. Okay. Yeah, another thing that if you download 25.3, you will notice if you haven't downloaded Siebel for a while, you find more zip archives in the bundle for your download. For example, there's no separate download of DISA anymore, or the marketing server, um, or approval manager. And that is all now shipped in one bundle. So you have 12 zip files for Windows currently, and those zip files you need to identify correctly using the first zip file as usual, and download what you need. And the mobile framework is now shipped with Siebel tools directly, so that the sources for the Siebel mobile application, the React Native sources, they're now in the Siebel tools. So that is also a change that comes with 25.2, but applies to 25.3 as well. Okay, let's talk about 25. Yeah.
I hope people like that. I mean, the idea here was so you didn't have to go hunt down 5 different patches if you were using EMS and DISA and all the rest. So that's why we did it. Then it's all in one place. Just easier, we hope. But if anyone has any feedback on that, just send me an email or let me know.
Yeah,
Or
that
throw
was
it
a
in the
pain
chat.
to find all the patch numbers that related to everything each time.
Okay, yeah. Well, that's it. Hopefully this is better, easier.
Yeah, definitely. I like the idea of having everything in one, let's say, what do you call it? Is it a bundle, or how do you call it?
Yeah. Well, I mean, the Oracle term is it's all in one patch.
In
It's
one
all
patch,
under one patch ID.
Right, one patch, and then you can
But
download what you need.
Just download what you want. I try to, you don't have to download the entire set of zip files. You just need to download the ones you need.
Yeah, usually it was always DISA was missing. Like when you go to a customer, did you download DISA? Oh, I forgot that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah. So changes from 25.2 apply to 25.3, of course. And well, now there's an unusual slide here. So we have Richard and myself, the Siebel Hub guys, say hello with an announcement, which coincides with this Siebel Friday. So you know that we have a world-class curriculum of Siebel training on the Siebel Hub for quite some time now. And that curriculum is, if you look very closely on this slide, that curriculum is also now available, or will be available shortly, on Oracle University. So that's an announcement we are allowed to make already.
Yep. It should be readily available. If you go to Oracle University and search for Siebel CRM, that learning subscription should pop right up. And I got confirmation of that late yesterday.
Yeah, so there might be some developments on this, which we will definitely keep you up to date. But if you want to purchase the video training, modern Siebel video training through Oracle University, it's ready to it's ready to use. So that's the change here on this slide. I added powered by Oracle University to the so that's a great news here. And now let's go to the 25.3, and that is actually quite substantial, quite the juicy release. If you look at the list of features and enhancements, yeah, gladly, Siebel Bookshelf was released a few days earlier, so I was able to well, browse bookshelf guides and compile this information. And so we have a few new wizards, so 3 new wizards in Web Tools, applet wizards that are pick applets, MVG, and 3 applets. So that makes a total of 5, because from previous releases you have form and list applets. So the number of wizards goes up again in Web Tools, which is good. A very interesting new business service arrived with regards to AI integration, the generic AI web service. So you can connect to any LLM like OpenAI, Anthropic, you name it, through a Siebel business service. So you send a prompt, you get the response, makes an outbound REST call. So that is definitely something making the life easier for people who have to integrate AI or LLMs. besides the OC, the still available, of course, from the 2 years ago or longer, the OCI AI service or the Cohere LLM. And there's news in the REST API department. So there UCM or Oracle Customer Hub, or AKA UCM, Universal Customer Master, gets an official REST API, both inbound and outbound. So that's in addition to those industry REST API collections that Oracle has started with product and pricing and telco. So UCM is a new one. And there's lots of movement in order management with regards to in-memory handling of promotion upgrades or general in-memory handling of the specific workflows, so they don't commit data to the Siebel database every single transaction. The Redwood theme is available for portal applications. So the like a loyalty member or loyalty partner, I guess it is, or e-dealer, automotive e-dealer portals, portal applications like those can now be used with Redwood or vice versa. And for people like me who like test automation a lot or use it a lot, that is a game changer. That is actually a documentation enhancement because it was working in older Siebel versions too. I don't know when it exactly started, but it's definitely working because I tried it immediately in 25. In an older version, it started working. You can run the master suite execution, that test execution record that you create. You have to, previously, the only way to run this was through Jenkins, start a Jenkins build, and Jenkins then forwards the information to DISA on the agent. And now you can just run DISA from command line and run the master suite. So you don't need Jenkins. Very convenient. And there's a new system preference documented in Bookshelf for cross-version migration. So you have to, if you do a cross-version migration, your DR development environment is on a higher version, like 25.3, while your runtime environments, test production are on older versions. You have to make sure you have that system preference in place. That's what I read. I was literally reading Bookshelf a few minutes before we started this call. So it's really fresh. And Tomcat is the same as 25.2, 9098. And besides all these changes, so that's quite a lot, there's also a certification is out for Oracle Database 23 AI. That means Siebel 25, if I interpret that correctly. Siebel 25, starting from 25.1, correct me if I'm wrong.
Starting from, sorry, you said 25.2?
25.1, right?
No, it's 25.2 because
okay.
it needs the updated ODBC driver.
Right. Okay, so 25.2
Yeah,
and higher.
Actually, I have checked certification on Oracle.com, support Oracle.com, and it says what I can select a Siebel Industry Application 25, and it says what Oracle database version is 23.4, but we are on OCI and we have 23.7, and when we provision new database in OCI, we do not have option to select like 23.4, 23.7. So how
it's yeah, no, I understand that's a problem with the system that tracks our certifications. But if it says 24.0, then typically any 24.x version should work unless stated otherwise.
So 23.x.
23.
All 23. Okay.
Yeah, okay. It for sometimes they're like, we have no control over what, we just do the mappings, right? The actual thing that goes in there, some central team does. And sometimes they put in 24.0, or 23.0, other times they put in 23.x.
Yeah.
We just get to use the closest we can find. This is all we can do. So if you ever have any questions about it, you can open a quick SR, but typically you know, and unless there's some major thing like a 2310 comes out and Oracle, the database team says, oh, this radically changes something, then you can assume that anything 23.x will typically work.
Mhm.
Okay, thank you.
Okay,
And the other thing quickly on that app, because it's weird. Well, first of all, if you haven't noticed, now everything's under Siebel industry applications, as
Yeah.
opposed to being split up across 15 different things. Now it's all under one. So that's one thing
yeah.
that's good.
So that's Siebel industry applications.
Yeah.
25,
that's-
right? It just says 25.
Right. And I'll just say 25. Now, the thing is, the example of the Oracle 23 AI that was brought up, Alex, is if you drill down on, if you're in that support thing and you drill down on the link that has the mapping, like to example to Oracle 23 AI, it'll show you any caveats. So somewhere under there, it'll say, effective 25.2. Because over the course of a year, it can change, but we only get one entry for the year. So there are notes that say effective 25.2 or whatever it might be. So sometimes there are caveats if you drill down on the mapping. So,
Okay.
in case people didn't know that.
Yeah, I saw some notes on the Oracle community forums, the support forum. People were not finding the new certification page for Siebel because they were looking were looking for the old name, and okay, that ends with 24, and the new name is Siebel Industry Applications.
Yeah, I've added that to our monthly update guide, by the way. It should be near the top. It has a link to
that. Okay, great.
or information about that.
Yeah, so good news on the database department. So yeah, start those vector embeddings.
I got a question on that cross-version migration. What situation would you use that?
Every time you apply a monthly update. If you apply a monthly update of 25.3 into your dev environment, you're not going to install it into your test and prod environments the same day.
No.
So you install it in dev, and then you test it, do your regression testing, hopefully run your automated test suite against it. But in the meantime, you're still doing development, right? So perhaps you're not ready to take the 25.3 repository and move it over to production. So, but you have to do a hotfix in production. Your production's still on 24.12. You need to be able to do that migration from the 25.3 instance to the 24.12 instance.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Our situation is
that's
different.
And is this required starting with 25.3 in the development environment?
I actually don't know what attribute that is new that Alex is referring to.
I put a slide I put a slide on. So
because I thought all the information was already there in Bookshelf, so I don't know what was new.
Well, there's a Bookshelf chat. Let me just fast forward to that. So here, it's in the database upgrade guide. It is actually a section that's been updated because there is a section on cross-version migration, and it mentions this new system preference that one needs to set: use old migration signature equals true in the DR environment. And it explains that when it's set to true, then the DR export will produce a pre-25.3 migration signature that then works on the RR, which is older. So
I have no idea what that's all about. Carrie, are you on? No, I don't see him.
Carrie's not on.
I no idea. I didn't know that was happening. So I don't own that migration anymore, but still, I usually hear about things like that.
Yeah, that's the result from searching Bookshelf for 25.3. It came up.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I can try to find out why, but anyway, I'm sure it's to support the use case. I guess perhaps we just changed the way that we generate the signature would be my guess. And so this is, and I don't know why we would do that, but who knows?
Yeah. So it clearly says also it reinstates that 1 year gap that is the maximum supported, which was there for a while. That's still in place, Brian, right? So you can. So the basically the oldest Siebel that you can combine with 25.3 DR is 24.3. Yeah.
Right. In production.
Right. Yeah, the RR environment.
Or test or whatever. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, there's no guarantee we can do it because we change things too much. It just
that's like the supported version gap. If you have a bigger gap, you're not, and it works fine. I guess it's fine. But if it doesn't
usually
work,
works fine.
Yeah.
Typically it works fine.
I would guess so, yeah.
But it's, I mean, as bugs get fixed in migration and so on, if your binaries are older in your target, who knows, right? It's just logistically impossible for us to test all of them because the number of combinations, doubles every month.
That's an exponential problem, yeah.
Yes.
So yeah, let me go back. I have some slides too on that. So the good old Siebel tools versus web tools slide where we do we track all the changes, and that means the wizard count is really going up, nearing, in a few months, that number matches the Siebel tools, and we go all green on this checklist. And the other part is the not so favorable slide where we list all the stuff that's still not in web tools. Hasn't changed really because still a few things that we are waiting for, how to put it, or maybe hoping for to appear in web tools soon.
Yeah.
Well, we had that a few.
I welcome input being sent to via your account teams to us, because I want to make that a higher priority. But I mean, we are obviously chewing away at it slowly. It seems like every couple of months we are chewing away at it. It's just takes time.
Yeah. Shows how rich in functionality Siebel tools is and was.
Yeah, there's a lot in there. Exactly.
Yeah. Okay. That REST API, just literally grabbed a screenshot from Bookshelf here, but if you are familiar with that, Oracle over the years has published a few industry APIs for the telco industry, for order management, as a collection of business services and workflows that already exist. And they are not documented with the correct way to call them in REST. And with some enhancements along the way for these workflows and business services, sometimes get new methods. So, and that collection of business services workflows into a REST API is in the documentation in Siebel Bookshelf. So for UCM, not sure if anybody in the audience is using UCM. It's quite a beast. I can remember from some projects. And is the master or golden record management for customers or products, as a product master as well. And that has a lot of integration to other systems naturally, which require that golden record to be shipped back and forth for accounts and contacts. And so if you're using UCM, you know what I mean. And if you're not using it, you probably don't care about that new documentation, right? Same goes for in-memory promotion upgrades, or the in-memory capabilities of the order management workflows, which is also quite interesting, but only really interesting if you work with Siebel order management and are using that specific functionality. But there are some enhancements shipped with 25.3. And here's the command line that I couldn't help myself trying out and works like a charm also when Siebel is slightly, or DISA is not 25.3. Can confirm, works. That means you can bypass Jenkins if you have that test execution record in your database. You can call, well, you actually don't call DISA, you call the Java library that comes with the Siebel test automation. And that's KWD pre-setup jar. And you pass in these parameters, which is the same parameterization that is in Jenkins. If you have seen that Jenkins parameter plugin, it's the same parameters that go in. But DISA makes the connection, downloads the data, the keyword files, the data files, and executes the test. So has actually helped me a lot. Automated testing in the 25.2 update that I ran on a customer site. They had 25 automated tests, which we just ran from the development machine where Jenkins is not available. Okay, so good news there.
Does anyone know if that actually runs on Linux too, or is it only Windows?
DISA definitely only is available on Windows.
Okay.
Because
Even,
DISA is only available.
yeah, well, I was wondering if the test, at least the test automation part was available on Linux, because that way we could run, the test suite in a container with Chrome.
Not sure about that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'll have to follow up with that. I
Okay.
can follow up on that.
Yeah, so it's definitely to get that jar file. Basically, you install DISA on Windows. From there,
Yeah, which the installer is Windows only, right? So we
yeah, the
wouldn't be able
installer
to
is
get that
Windows
far.
only. Yeah, so but then it's Java and Selenium. So well, but you still need well, it would just be guesswork. So it's definitely not a supported practice or you can't officially run automated tests the Siebel style on a non-Windows machine. Never heard of that. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
okay.
Let me ask a question, if I may. If and you don't have to go into the details now, but just if that's something that is important to people, let me know. You can contact me directly. The PM for for test automations on my team, so I can make sure that he knows the value of that, or the perceived value from you, our customers. So just let me know if you want to kind of vote for that, so to speak.
Yeah, it's probably more of a nice to have because to some extent, we still want to be able to test Chrome on Windows because that's what the user is actually using on their
Right,
machine.
right. Yeah.
Instead of, because they're not on a Linux machine, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So it is kind of helpful to have the Windows side of that there. So it probably would be a low priority thing that we might be useful. Yeah.
Okay. But yeah, anyone on here, let me know.
Yeah, there's this capability of test automation where you can test the REST API, Siebel inbound REST API, where it makes sense to think more in a container style, Linux style, and doesn't require a browser even.
Yeah, I agree. Where I think we need to do more, and we know is in providing better tools for kind of back end testing. Our test automation scripts right now are all largely aimed at helping you test your UI.
Yeah,
which is useful, of course.
It's
but
great.
Super. But you may need more. So.
Yeah, when I run workshops with customers on test automation, there's always the question of how does it support load testing, stress testing, performance testing, and the answer is it doesn't because it's Selenium in a browser.
Yeah.
Finding elements in the DOM and clicking them. So it's not really load testing.
Right. Agreed.
But that's not what it's been designed for, right?
But yeah, no, it was really aimed at the UI.
Okay, so yeah, okay, I even got a slide on Oracle database. So 23AI, of course, has been out for quite some time, so people are aware of the capabilities, especially in the data vector embedding area where you have the new vector column. I recorded a little video where I created, I just brute forced the column into a Siebel table, not through Siebel tools. I was able to generate embeddings using an LLM I imported into the database, and was able to run those similarity queries, which are so helpful, which are really, I think, the killer application for Siebel search. And I'm sure Oracle has some plans to integrate Oracle Database 23AI more tightly with Siebel. I guess there are plans.
Yeah.
Is that?
We'll get there.
Okay,
Specific use cases are welcomed, of course.
yeah. So you have similarity search as a use case already, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, no, yeah, I've got someone on my team who's working on figuring out ways to do it, but obviously having input from any of you would be highly valuable. So again,
okay. Yeah.
by now you must all know my email, so feel free to use it.
Yes. Okay. So
Alex, before you move on, I think we discussed it in the summer that you kind of keep saying or highlighting that 23AI comes with vector support, which is true, and this is like terrific web use case. I was saying that we are intrigued the most about this duality views.
yeah.
And so basically, even though you have like normal tables, you are able to basically operate with this data through JSON and through Mongo API with this like duality view features. And basically at Konecranes, where we need to expose a lot of data in the read-only mode to mobile application. So actually using this feature. So for now, from sort of operational Siebel, all the data is moved to 23AI database using Golgate. But obviously, when they will kind of upgrade their Siebel and it will run 23AI, we don't need to kind of duplicate the database. And the performance was, I think, kind of pretty good. So Ole can comment more, but maybe I don't know, maybe next month we can agree with somebody from Konecranes also to present how they're using this new multi-model kind of approach towards the data, how you can work with the same data without like any hacks and stuff. So just by Oracle DB, 23AI database.
Yeah, we are not using duality views. We are using like JSON collection views. It's like read-only by design, because there are some issues with Siebel schema and the duality views. Duality views sometimes require having primary key, and the Siebel does not have primary key on the tables. It has like unique index by row ID, but yeah, of course we can add the constraint with primary key, but after that there are errors applying table from the Siebel tools. So we got rid of duality views and we moved to JSON collection views. Yeah, but technically it's almost the same. We just read only by default because we need only read only access.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot in the modern versions of Oracle database that could be really useful for Siebel. Either customized through customizing it, or even Oracle integrating something. Yeah. Well, time will tell what happens.
Yeah.
Thanks, Iris and Alex.
And then also, Jason, I see you online. You mentioned that you will try to play with this true cache, which is also kind of part of 23AI. Did you had a chance to look at it or not?
Not yet, but we are very close.
You're very close, okay. Which is like another thing which is supposed to boost performance and stuff.
Yeah. So yeah, there's so much. Anybody who's like just getting started with Oracle 23AI to hit the well, Google, hit your search engine and read up on 23 AI. It's really a lot what Oracle built there. And yeah, on another note, and on a good note as well, Oracle has, as they do in March, it's typically a March tradition. They extended the lifetime support, Premier support for another year. So it's now December 2036 when is the official Premier support end for Siebel, which will most likely be extended 1 year next year, which Oracle doesn't really commit to, but the text that you can read there is very legalese. But still, it's a good sign for the whole Applications Unlimited family, of course, not just Siebel, to have that extension every year like clockwork. Just boosts the confidence in Siebel, right? Okay. And guess that's it. Oh yeah, there we are again on that same slide. I keep showing because yeah, Richard and I are super happy that we now have partnered up with Oracle University. So Yuri sent a link to that story. That's my learn. Yeah, I cannot show it here. Not if it's on public YouTube later. But Yuris has sent a link in the chat. Thank you, which takes you there. And also, you're just a search away in Oracle MyLearn from finding the modern Siebel training courses that we have developed. All right.
And thank you very much, Alex, for both being there and being able to do it for us, and also all the patience that you and Richard had to have to finally get this done after all this time, because we've been working on this a long time. Just so
yes, that took a few weeks.
That's a very generous way of putting it.
In the lower 3-digit range.
Exactly. Number of weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. But still, yeah, we all persevered on both sides and we pulled through, and yeah, happy to have this great partnership. And it feels like a little bit, on a personal note, feels like coming home a little bit, because when, as many of you know, I was an Oracle instructor doing Siebel and business intelligence and other stuff. And then when before the training centers were closed in 2017, Oracle sent all instructors to recording studios to record the Siebel 15 classes that were there. And I recorded a few, and you might have watched them over the years on Oracle University. And those Siebel 15 courses, of course, are now totally outdated because it's been 10 years. And so it feels a little bit like coming home, and a good feeling. Okay. So yeah. So go download 25.3. It's available just 1 hour before we started the Siebel Friday. Anything else? Anything you want to discuss, to share?
Yeah, Alex, the install of Linux is going smoothly. I'm
Okay,
almost
so
done.
we have a live install running while we do the Siebel Friday. That's super cool. Thanks, Nick.
Yeah, 1 gateway, 1 Siebel server, and 5 AIs.
Okay, so no change from previous releases. It runs smoothly.
Just like 25.1.
Yeah. And what are you updating from, Nick? You're updating from
25.2.
okay.
This is
So
my vanilla. I do it in vanilla all the time.
yeah, okay. So you do it every month.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're waiting for Tomcat 99 because that's our latest ISO issue.
Yeah, there's always issues with Tomcat. Yeah, that's okay. Thanks, Nick, for the live update. All right. Okay, so yeah, thank you very much, Brian, for sharing all the candid details. And thank you very much, everybody, for joining, and see you next time.
Thanks, Alex.
Bye-bye.
Bye, Alex.
Bye-bye, everyone.
Thank you. Bye bye.
As always, Alex.
Goodbye, Jason. Thank you.